What is going on, traders? We got a lot to talk about in this video, and I do mean a lot. So bear with me here. Before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So today was really good for the bulls, okay? I hope you made money. If you didn't, there will always be other opportunities. In the Discord, we made a lot of profit, or a decent amount of profit, I should say. So congratulations to everybody in the Discord who took those plays. We're still in a few plays as well. At least I am. I always give the option towards the end of the day to close out any plays that are currently in profit, especially when we're heading into events such as CPI. Now, as far as my thoughts heading into CPI, which is tomorrow at around 8:30 Eastern, we have core CPI month over month and year over year. I personally think CPI is pretty much going to come in good. And the reason being is historically, when PPI is good, CPI is good. When CPI is good, PPI is good. So I have no reason to believe that CPI is going to come in bad, hot. If it does, then yeah, that's pretty bad. Now, I will say that we've seen something similar to this happen before, where we made a huge move all in one day, and then we gave it all back immediately the next day. So if CPI does come in hot, I imagine the same scenario is going to happen. Now, again, I must reiterate, I don't think CPI is going to come in hot. Don't take my word for it. Obviously, wait for the data. Wait 30 minutes until open. 30 minutes after open, I mean, and go from there, see how the market digests the news, whether it's good or bad. And then you pretty much decide what you want to do from there, adjust from there. So, again, I think CPI is going to be good, but if it comes in bad, we're pretty much probably going to give away all our gains, the same way we saw happen last week. Now, last week we didn't get CPI, we had an FOMC meeting, I believe, and then the next day we pretty much plummeted, like immediately. Okay, so I want you guys to keep that in the back of your head. But for now, things look very bullish. I will say that much. But when we're looking at the SPY daily time frame, we are still in that retest area that I've been talking about for quite some time now. Now, if you're new to the channel, and you're wondering what I'm talking about, if we're looking at the daily time frame on the SPY, this we've been trading within this channel for about a year now. We bounced here, we bounced here, we bounced here, we bounced here, we bounced all in this area here. We rejected all up here as well. We rejected here, and then we finally started to head down. And then we finally broke below this channel. And mind you, we've been trading in this for a year. So that just shows you how significant this channel is. And now it looks like we're potentially heading back up to a retest, and not only a retest, but creating another lower high at around 550, 552 range on the SPY. Now, the next question is, what will get me to change my sentiments here? What will get me to think that, hey, there's no drop coming, there's not a second drop coming, we're going to continue to go up from here? I would like to see, in order for me to change my sentiments here, I would like to see the SPY get above 556. Okay, if the SPY can get above 556, by all means, I do think at that point we're going to start heading towards previous highs, if not all-time highs, especially if we get back into this channel here. So let's mark it out. You guys know, I always say this, if we roll back into a pattern, chances are we're heading back in that direction or continuing in that direction. So what I mean by that, if you're new to the YouTube channel, is that if we break back into this yearly channel, by the way, we've been trading this for a year. If we break back into this and actually get a close above 556, we are more than likely, we're going to see a retest to 550, most likely, and then we are definitely heading towards this gap fill at around 562 range. Okay, and at that point we'll be pretty much close to previous highs, and there's definitely opportunity for new highs at around 580. Okay, so that will get me to change my sentiments, and then I'll most likely say, okay, no drop is coming. Now, what I will say is the span of time this move happens. That will make it scary. If we see all-time highs within the month of August, that's scary, especially if we see it before Nvidia earnings, because I think Nvidia earnings is a huge catalyst. And if we just so happen to break back into this channel, break above 556, start heading towards all-time highs within a week or two, because I believe Nvidia earnings is August 28th. We'll see if I'm wrong in a bit, but if we start seeing previous highs and even all-time highs prior to Nvidia earnings, I think that's pretty scary. Okay, I do think that's pretty scary. And we can be looking at a very, very bearish market within the month of probably September or October or even both. Okay, so I want you guys to keep that in the back of your mind. But right now, we're heading towards 550 in my opinion. I will be very cautious towards this area here because again, this could be a potential retest where we just simply hit this 550 range, maybe a little higher, 552 give or take. and then we reach possibly reject. But if we stay in this channel, close above 556, then I think we're going to head towards previous highs, all-time highs. As far as the second drop coming down, my target still remains the same. We could be looking at a move to 504, which is right at this daily 200 daily SMA, 504, 502 range, if not possibly lower. And at that point, we'll be creating a lower low. We'll have another lower high if we do reject from here, and that will signal a bearish market. All right, so that's my thoughts as far as the SPY. Now, when we're looking at the triple Qs, the triple Qs actually does look a lot better than the SPY. And this is a great example here on how we're rolling back into a pattern. And the fact that the triple Qs closed above 460, that's a very good thing and leads me to believe that we are heading towards 480 on the triple Qs, which is very bullish for a lot of stocks that we are in the Discord as far as Amazon, QCOM, Tesla, things of that nature. So the fact that we're back in this channel, you guys know one of my rules is that if we roll back into a pattern, we're more than likely heading back in that direction. And here's a great example right here on the triple Qs that I've talked about before. And I even warned you guys that this could be the potential top right here if we roll back into this channel here. And again, just like the SPY, we've been trading in here for about a year now, okay? And this is the daily time frame. And so we rolled back in and we gapped down, we broke all the way down, and look what we're doing, but in reverse. Okay, so chances are there's a good chance that we can continue to head higher. Now, I don't know about a rolling back to back move. Okay, I rarely see that where we just roll back into a channel and then roll back in it. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I rarely see that, and I've been trading for 12 years. But hey, we got to stick to the rule here until something else changes here. So right now, I think triple Q's closing above 460 is very big, a very big deal for the Bulls, and we can see a move towards 475, 480, give or take. As far as my price targets heading lower on the triple Qs, 420 right now is what I'm looking at if we do get that second drop. 420. Now, what causes this second drop, I can't say for sure. It can be the Jackson Hole event. I believe it's next week with Jerome Powell. I think that's a huge event. What else? Nvidia earnings, this war that's happening, or so-called war, whatever it is, between Israel and whatnot. A number of things can cause this. We still have bad news lingering around in the air, so anything can cause a massive drop in the market. And like I tell you guys, the market is very, very fragile now that bears are stepping back in. All right, so I want you guys to still be cautious and keep track of those levels that I talked about, especially looking at the SPY. Make sure you really pay attention to the SPY. Let's look at the Nasdaq. So Nasdaq, I think is heading towards 19,400, 19,600. Now, I will say that the Nasdaq is pretty much retesting right here. So I would say be very careful here. Again, I don't think CPI is going to come in bad. But what I will say is that if we hit 19,000, I would say 19,200, 19,400, 19,600. What I will say is at this point right here, if we get up here where all these bears are, and there's a lot of bears up here. I talked about this in the last video. There's a lot of bears up here. I would be very, very careful and start to take profit if you are in any bullish positions. Okay. If we get in this area, okay, we need very great news. Okay. I don't know if CPI is going to be enough. I do think CPI is a great signal as far as how inflation is coming along. But in regards to just how many bearish candles in comparison to bullish candles, bears are very much existing in this area and they're going to look for any, and I mean any opportunity to drop this thing. So while the triple Qs looks fine, the NASDAQ is, like I said with the SPY, it's in a retest area right now. All right. Now, if we do go to a lower time frame, which is let's go to the 4 hour time frame, and we kind of zoom in, we're kind of a little bit above the trend, more or less. It could be off, but what I will say is that we are within this daily supply and demand zone, so that is a good sign. And we could just simply look at a retest at around 19K, 18,000, 18,800 tomorrow. That could be on the table, or we just continue higher from here. All right. Let's look at the ES. So the ES is actually a big deal here. The fact that we closed above not four, 440, 5,440 is actually a really good deal here. Now we look at the daily time frame, we're essentially looking at the same thing that I told you guys as far as the SPY. Let's get rid of this. And in regards to the SPY, it looks like we could be looking at a retest. And I told you guys about this level at 5,500, where we retest 5,500 and possibly head as high as 5,600. Okay. And once we get there, we could be looking, and again, look at exactly the same thing we're looking at as before, right here. There's a lot of bears in this area. There's bearish engulfing candles in this area. And in comparison to the bullish candles, there's a lot more bearish candles in this area. So bears very much exist in here, and there's a lot of turbulence over here as well. So I imagine it's going to be very complicated for us to just really break through this area. Okay, I could be wrong. Maybe CPI just does it all and just sends us skyrocketing to all-time highs. Who knows? Me personally, I think if anyone had the power to bring us to all-time highs, it would be Jerome Powell, but that's just my personal thought. Okay, so from here up until about 5,500, between 5,500, 5,600 is where I will start to be very cautious in regards to the ES. Another scenario here is that we simply start to form a potential head and shoulders pattern, an inverse head and shoulders pattern to be exact, where we form our shoulder here, we have a head here, and then we possibly get up here. These bears step in, they start to reject, and then the bulls start fighting to somewhat get higher, and we form another shoulder here. And if we do form that shoulder and it plays out, then we are definitely looking at all-time highs. Okay, 100%. So I do. So the next question is, somebody asked me this: do I think the triple Qs and the SPY? Well, he asked specifically, do I think the triple Qs is going to see 510? Someone asked me this in my YouTube comments. Absolutely, I think the triple Qs is still going to see 510 this year, maybe beginning of next year. I think the SPY is going to see, what was my price target for the SPY? 600 this year, again this year or beginning of next year. So I still think all time highs is definitely going to happen. So despite how bearish I sound and how much of a perma bear I sound as of lately, I still believe that all time highs is still going to come in. It's just a matter of when. I don't think the month of August is going to be the month that it happens. I genuinely would be surprised, and I'm not against it completely, but I will be surprised. And if there was a catalyst that could make that happen, it could be Jerome Powell, the next Fed meeting, which I believe is September, or it can be Nvidia earnings. So we'll have to see. But for now, we're still looking at that retest area where we hit 5,500, which is pretty much 50, I mean, not 550 on the SPY, between 5,500, 5,550, 5,600. That's about 550 on the SPY. We hit this turbulence area and then we break further. We potentially break further down, or we start to form somewhat of an inverse head and shoulders pattern and start to head higher. So those are your options right there. At least for me, those are my options. As you guys can see, we zoom out, show you the same thing we showed on the SPY. We've been bouncing off this trend for quite some time. We finally broke the trend. It's the same thing. We were in this channel. I don't have it marked, but hopefully you guys got the idea as far as when we were looking at the SPY. And we broke below this channel. Right now, it looks like we're simply trying to retest it. We could potentially form another lower high, high here, lower high here, and we may form one here. So I will be very cautious once we get into this area, just like I was talking about with the SPY. Now, let's go over some stocks real quick. Now, actually, let's look at Bitcoin and then we'll look at the VIX. So, Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, I'm not yet convinced. Okay, I'm gonna be honest here. I'm just not convinced with Bitcoin. Okay, it's still below the 200 daily SMA. It's still looking bearish. It still looks like it wants to see downside. In order for me to change my sentiment on Bitcoin, I would like to see a move above 65K. And while that won't make me extremely bullish on Bitcoin, it will start to help me lean a little bit more towards the bullish side on Bitcoin. In order for me to be really bullish on Bitcoin, I would like to see a move up out of this channel first off. Around 70,500. We get above 70,500. I think we're looking at all-time highs. But for now, Bitcoin is still trading below the 200 daily SMA. It's still forming this potential head and shoulders pattern. I'm still not sold on it. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just not. Okay, so I think it's taking its time. And given the move that we've seen with the market, I would think that Bitcoin would have made a much bigger move, but that's pretty much speculation for now. We'll see. But right now, nothing looks bullish about Bitcoin right now. Below the 200 daily SMA is 100% bearish for now, so we'll have to see. Now let's look at the VIX. So in regards to the VIX, so the VIX, and I've said this. I think I gave this as an option that we could go we can either fill this gap and bounce, or we can start heading towards the 15 and 14 range. And it looks like that's what the VIX wants to do. So we filled the gap at around $19 on the VIX or whatever the case may be. And it looks like we could potentially start heading towards, if we're talking about a move higher across the market, we can start filling this gap all the way down to about $15, $14. And I think that's where we're going to see a bounce because that's where the 200 daily SMA is. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say the VIX is one of those indexes that really respects the 200 daily SMA because it doesn't. It really doesn't. But you do see bounces here and there from, you see a rejection here, you bounced here, and majority of the movements or the sporadical movements that the VIX makes is just because of spikes and volatility, right? So it's hard for it to really respect things. And people say you can't chart the VIX all the time, but I've had no issue. I mean, I literally said in one of my videos, if we break out of this channel, VIX is going to absolutely like skyrocket because look how long we've been trading in this channel. So when people say you can't trade the VIX, I never understood that. That's something I feel like that's a hive mind thing. Like I don't think that's a real thing. I think someone just started saying that because they couldn't do it, and then everybody else is like, yeah, that makes sense. It's a volatility index, so I guess that makes sense. But overall, guys, you see me call this in real time. I said, hey, this thing breaks out of this channel is going to. Now, I didn't expect to move to 65. I'm gonna say that much. I definitely didn't expect that. That was a crazy move. But in regards to just how much the VIX respects channels and respects patterns, in my opinion, and there's not too many patterns you can get out of the VIX with how volatile it is, but it definitely respects ranges. It respects levels. I will say that much. And you see it all the time. I mean, it respects this area here. So the fact that somehow you can't chart it is never made sense to me. But to each his own, right? So in regards to the VIX, $15, it looks like that's where it wants to head. And like I said, the same rule applies here. You break back into a channel, chances are you're heading in that direction. So we broke back into this channel, we filled the gap. Sorry, you guys probably can't see that, but we filled the gap. We broke back into this channel, so chances are we're going to continue back lower on the VIX, and then we'll have to see what happens from there. But I still think the VIX has one more spike in it, given that I do think another drop is going to come eventually. It's just a matter of when, and we'll have to see from there. Now, let's talk about some stocks real quick. So first stock, we're actually going to talk about. I actually want to go over this bot real quick. So if you want to stick around and see how we trade our Discord bot, our AI bot, then by all means, that'll be towards the end of the video. But um, as far as trades go, right now I'm in Amazon calls, and Amazon is right now in profit. It's about 100, $200 up um, per contract. We did 167.5 calls. I gave the option for people to close if they wanted to. We're also in SOXL shares, or I am. I alerted I'm in 100 shares. So here is my shares right here, 100 shares. Currently in profit as well. My average was 34.96. I think XOXL is going to head towards $40. Um, QCOM, absolutely love QCOM. We'll go over these in a bit, but QCOM, I love QCOM. I think this thing looks amazing. It can go to 180, 190 range. I definitely wouldn't be surprised if it starts getting news, some crazy news overnight or tomorrow, whatever the case may be, like Starbucks. That news was insane. But yeah, so let's go over these stocks real quick. So Amazon is first. So Amazon, Amazon looks beautiful, guys. It can be annoying. It can be a very annoying stop because it takes its time to catch up with the market. It really does. But I showed this in the Discord. We have an ascending triangle here. It broke out of this ascending triangle. It closed above 170. Absolutely beautiful play here. I think Amazon is going to head towards 175. And just look at how illiquid this area is. I think Amazon is waiting on CPI. Simple as that. Amazon is definitely waiting on CPI because we're talking about consumers. So when we're talking about CPI, part of CPI is consumers, and Amazon cares about consumers. So I think if CPI comes in good, Amazon is going to absolutely skyrocket. And I mean, just look at how illiquid this area is. We're already in this area. We just need news to boost us higher. And I think my price target for now, short term, is 173, 175 cycle level, and then we can head as high as about 180, 185 on Amazon, if not higher. But this ascending triangle, absolutely beautiful play. I've been talking about this all day in the Discord, and we finally broke through. We closed above 170. Huge move on Amazon. Really love this play. Can't really find anything bad about it or anything iffy about it. So we'll see what happens heading into the rest of this week. But congratulations to those traders who took profit on Amazon. If you're still in Amazon, congratulations because we're still in profit. So we want to keep it that way. But I always give the option before we close to, if we're in profit on a play, to definitely consider trimming contracts or just getting out the play in general, especially when we're talking about CPI on the way or a huge news event coming in. Tesla. Um, Tesla Tesla looks good. I think Tesla is going to head towards 225 from this point. 207 207 was a good close here. But I really want to see Tesla get above 210. If Tesla gets above 210, start packing your bags, okay? Pack your bags. Pack your bags because we're going to the moon, okay? If Tesla can get above that, yeah, you're gonna go crazy here. All right. So, um, definitely, definitely. We're in 220 calls, by the way, for next week on Tesla. My price target is 225. It can go higher than that. That's actually, I'm on an hourly time frame. I just realized that. Um, but right here, on the daily time frame as far as Tesla goes. We closed back above the 200 daily SMA at around 203, 204 range. Very, very, very good sign here as far as Tesla. We also broke back above this channel here. Not this channel, but this trend. We bounced here, and we broke back above this. So I do think Tesla is going to start heading towards 225 if we get that nice little move above 210. And also, Tesla is dependent on CPI data as well, I believe. All right. So that's my thoughts on Tesla. I don't really have anything bad to say about it as far as the short term, considering the market is bullish for now. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Tesla. QCOM, we're in a lotto play. We were in 200 calls for this week. That's a lottery play. All right. We got in for like $1 a contract. So I'm not expecting anything crazy. And I'm not expecting to anything bad either. Okay. It's just $1 per contract. It was just a little lottery play. So, but if the thing I got, if it does go to 200 this week, or at least 190, that is a bag, people. That is a huge bag. All right. So I want the Discord members to know if we can get that, we're talking about a very, very fat bag. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. All right, I guess it depends on how many contracts you got, but $1 per contract, you can't beat that. Okay, so that's our little lotto play. QCOM looks absolutely amazing here. We go to a smaller time frame here, and we are looking at an ascending triangle. We broke out of that ascending triangle. We broke this trend. We broke this ascending triangle at around 160. 166, give or take. And now I'm looking at a break or want to look at a break above 170. We start breaking above 170. We are definitely going to the moon. We're already in this a very liquid area right here, so I have no reason to believe that QCOM is not going to head higher unless the market just somehow rug pulls us. But yeah, so right here is what I'm looking at, and right, my first target is about 180, and then after that, these are guys that you really have to worry about. These bears in this week right here. I tell you guys all the time, wicks have bears show you where bears and bulls are. And right now, bears are very much strong within this wick. So if we can start getting into this territory and start stopping these guys out of their position, we're definitely going to start heading towards that 200 target, which is pretty far away. So I'm hoping that QCOM gets like some crazy news like Starbucks did, and we get a nice little bag off that. But regardless, we're also in 175 calls for next week as well. We got in at around 166 on QCOM, that 166 break on the ascending triangle, and we are currently in profit. So I definitely think, if anything, if the lotto play doesn't play out, then we're looking at a that 180 move. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at as far as QCOM. Nvidia. So Nvidia looks really good here, actually. I will say that much. Right now, I think Nvidia is going to head towards this 122 area. If it starts breaking above 122, I would say 125 psych level, you are looking really, really good for Nvidia. But right now, we're looking at this 122 area, 120 range. And I think Nvidia is going to want to head there. All right. So right now, I'm looking at a move like this. We closed above 115. That was a very, very tough level today. So if you were paying attention, Nvidia was having a very hard time breaking above 115, and it finally did. It closed above it. So I think from here, it's just going to continue to head higher. And considering that I think SOXL and SMH are going to head higher, I'm going to assume that Nvidia is going to head higher as well. All right. So that's my thoughts as far as Nvidia. TLT. So I want you guys to understand something. TLT is a safe haven it's a safe haven. Okay, it's a safe haven bond, ETF, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Um, it's not meant to rocket ship all the way to 110. It's not going to happen overnight. This is a safe haven play that we're in just in case the market decides to rug pull, crash, whatever the case may be. As you guys can see, investors are slowly creeping into TLT. We got in at around, I want to say 96, 95. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. And we are in 100 calls for September 20th. And yeah, so my price target for TLT is 105, 110. You got to give this play some time. We're pretty close to being in profit on it, actually, if not already. I haven't looked, but TLT it still looks phenomenal. It still looks like it wants to head higher. Investors are slowly creeping into it. We look at the weekly time frame here, as you guys can see. We have a inverse head and shoulders. We shoulder here, head here, shoulder here. We broke the neckline. We broke another neckline here. We retested the neckline as well. So I do think TLT is going to head much higher. As long as TLT is above $95, you have nothing to worry about. I would say 94 if you really want to like push it, but otherwise 95, that's where investors are mostly getting in at. So I think TLT is going to slowly creep up, whether it's with the market, without the market is really up in the air. But regardless, profit is profit, and that move is a good move. All right, so that's pretty much all I have in regards to stocks. Um, so next, I want to go over the Discord and our AI bot, all right, and how you can go about trading it. Now, I did explain this already, but just in case if you're watching this video, you're new to the YouTube channel and you want to pretty much get access to this AI bot, link is in the description below, and the Discord link is in the description below. We're slowly growing. I'm so like I'm really happy, genuinely happy. People have been asking me questions. I'm trying to get used to being asked questions all the time and things like that. So the chat has slowly been booming. So I really appreciate those who are already in, and I just really hope to provide value and make our pockets a lot bigger. All right. So that's the goal there. Okay. We've been getting in some crazy plays. We've been taking some L's, but it is what it is. The goal is to win way more than you lose. I'm not the type of trader to admit that I'm going to win every play, but our win rate is really high. Okay, really high. All right. So I will say that much. Now, in regards to trading the AI bot, so this is our bullseye tab. This is the AI bot. So like I said in the group chat, when you're trading the AI bot, and it usually alerts in the morning and towards the evening, well, towards close. So when you're trading the AI bot, main things you want to look out for is you want to look out for a high premium. So right here, this is a 1.3 million premium. Usually $1 million premiums come in when the play is already in the money. So I'm assuming that DraftKings is already in the money, and usually you just treat, well, me, I treat the $33 as support. Okay, and you want to see a premium over 200K. This is what I look for. Okay, you want to see a premium above 200K. You want the volume and open interest to be close to each other. Now, how close is really about perspective. You can say 2,000, you can say 1,000. It's really all about instinct in my opinion, in my mind. It's just like if it looks close, then it's close. Okay, so I would consider this close, but it's really up to you, especially when you have the volume higher than the open interest. When the value is higher than the open interest, that's a very, very good play, in my opinion. Next, you want the AI confidence to be above 60%. All right. So that's what you're looking at. So now we can look at DraftKings and see how it actually is turning out. What is it? DKNG? Yeah, there we go. So now we can look at DraftKings and see if it's really deep in profit. And it's not. All right. So might be a play you want to consider here. Let's actually look at the daily time frame, see if we can find anything in regards to DraftKings. I really wish I caught this move because that's crazy that I never caught this, but it is what it is. But yeah, as far as DraftKings go, I'm not really seeing anything. Let's actually check the expiration date. It's all the way in September. So I would keep DraftKings on your watch list. That's a very good contract in my opinion. Maybe I'm not seeing it all. I'm kind of rushing through this. I'm not trying to like really study DraftKings here, but I was hoping I'll just pick up something right away, but it's just not there. Okay. So let's look at another one. And again, we want to find ones with the little rocket ship. So Amazon, this was a great example today. Amazon, I actually alerted this as a trade idea, so I will alert to you guys if I really like what the AI bot is showing and if it looks good on charts. And so this is when we had that ascending triangle, and we were still in the ascending triangle as well. So we have a August 16th expiration. We have the AI confidence above 60%. We have a premium of over 200K. Now the volume and open interest is not close at all, but given what I saw on the charts as far as Amazon and that ascending triangle, I would say this was a good play, and this was definitely in profit. Now this was alerted at around 167.5, 168 on Amazon. And now you guys, as you guys can see, we are currently, or the contract is currently in profit. Okay. So Amazon is at like 170 right now. So that play definitely in profit. So congratulations if you did take this play. Um, Really good move. I still have a price target of 175 on Amazon. Last one we'll do is Starbucks. So Starbucks had great news. The Chipotle CEO is now the CEO of Starbucks. So that was really good news, and Starbucks like shot up. I made like 4K on one of my like BS accounts somehow. I only had 5 contracts, and that turned into like 4K. So this now I didn't take that. This was when I took the 85 calls, and the bot actually alerted 85 calls. Let's actually look that up and see if it does pop up. And I just want to show you guys just how powerful this bot is. Like it's so good. It's so good. And obviously every play that it alerts isn't going to play out like how you want it to. But overall, I mean, the win rate on this thing is absolutely like astronomical in my opinion. So I can't find the 85 call, but it definitely is this is it right here. Here we go. August 16th. This was alerted all the way in June, guys. All the way in June, June 27th, 2024. Starbucks has a nice little star in it. This is another thing you want to look for in the super trades tab. This is where like the bigger trades are coming in at. 85 strike, August 16th expiration, which is crazy that it was this week. So you can't tell me that institutions don't know when something's about to happen. Like they don't get information before everybody else. They probably, chances are they knew a CEO was coming, a new CEO was coming before everybody else. Because why, like the timing on this is crazy. All right. And the fact that it happened the same week of August 16th, but this was alerted all the way in June, I don't know, do the math. And so today, Starbucks gaps up all the way to about $95 after that news from like $70, like mid $70. Okay. So the premium 1.12 million, a huge star next to it. So you definitely want to look for plays like this as well. And Starbucks, yeah, I had like 5 contracts in another account. It was one of my BS accounts that I just like test stuff with, and yeah, 4K. All right, I made 4K off of it. So that was a crazy play. Um I didn't want to like post a screenshot of it because I didn't want to feel like I was bragging or anything like that because we weren't in the play anymore. So yeah, or we weren't supposed to be in the play anymore. But yeah, I wasn't expecting too much out of the Starbucks play, and it just turned from like $0 to 4K. So yeah, but that's pretty much what I look for as far as the Discord bot. Hopefully you guys learned something here. Palantir, the premium is too low, but Palantir has been doing its thing. So if it resides with your charts, that's another thing. You want to make sure anything the bot alerts correlates with your sentiment and correlates with what you're seeing on your charts or your strategy. If it doesn't correlate, then you probably should ignore it. This is another one. I actually took this one and I alerted it to the Discord members. This is a SPY 540 call. It was alerted at 5:37 August 13th, which was today. So this was a day trade, and II confidence was 64 percent. Premium was 700K, and then the volume and open interest was really, really close. And I actually traded this. I even alerted it to the Discord members as a trading idea. Let me see if I can find it. So all these provisor, that's currently in the money. This was a $29 call. August 23rd, SPY 540 call. This was alerted today. So everything the bot alerted today, as far as me reposting it, was in the money. I'm trying to find the SPY play. Here it is. So day trade idea is successful. And here you go. The SPY 540 call made a nice $350 off of it. Closed that play out. And as you guys can see, SPY is well above 540. So that's really all I have for this video. If you want access to plays like that, you want access to our AI bot, It's a very accurate bot. Um, I'll make like a separate video on more details on it, and we'll go from there. But if you want access to that, Discord link is in the description below. If you want my text messages alert sent directly to your phone, where all my plays go to your phone, whether I'm in a play, when I get out of a play, so on and so forth, that will be sent directly to your phone through a third party. Yes, it costs a little bit more. It costs $10 more than the Discord, but that's only because I have to pay the third party to use their services. All right. And I had to get approved for it and LLC and all that. It was a lot. Okay. So yeah. But if you want to be part of a community, we're not the biggest community or anything, so I'm very humble on just how much we're growing. Um, by all means, join the Discord. But if you're enjoying the value, the content, the YouTube content, I will continue to push that out. It's all free. And until the next video, traders, I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.